Good afternoon, scholars. I hope you've had a great morning and are ready for another afternoon of fun and focus as we heed the call of the wild. Our attendance and turn-in rate, it dipped a bit yesterday. We went back to the days before, which is not good. But if you're watching this video, this is probably not pertaining to you. So I want to shout out you guys who are getting your work in, completed, and to the best of your ability. Again, if you've got friends who are not getting this stuff done, just remind them that you're not going to get this time back in your development in your education. And if we're not working really hard for a couple hours a day, then we're slipping and we don't have time to slip, especially with high school right around the corner. And a lot of those scholarships and goals that you guys have are going to take regular, consistent effort, um, even at these strange times where we're expected to give that effort at home, largely independently. You guys can do it. All right. Um, yesterday's the comprehension questions yesterday that I asked after that first ASAC response, I saw a lot of struggle, and so I'm gonna suggest something today to maybe help you. But um, we're gonna do the same pages and questions as yesterday. Um, the reason we're gonna do it is because we're missing details that if we keep missing all these details, we're not going to understand what's happening in the story, and we're not going to truly appreciate these characters and what they're going through, and even how we can learn from them and apply some of those lessons to improve our own lives, which is why we read. We read to learn lessons through others. So if we're missing the details that are going on in these characters' experiences, we're missing out because then we can't learn and through characters. Um, so I'm going to give one shout out from that first response, which was Catherine's. Um, Catherine kind of picked up on the fact that this man in the red sweater is trying to show Buck his place. And he does it in two ways, and that he must obey. He does it in two ways. First, she said he's kidnapped, he's beaten, he's sold, and that the first piece of evidence that I provided when of the man in the red sweater really knocking Buck out, she wants to show him that he is the master. Buck has always thought of the first piece of evidence shows that the man in the red sweater wants Buck to learn his place. Buck has always thought of himself as the king, but he is no longer the king, and he must obey his master, or else there will be consequences. Buck cannot continue to fight back and must give up to obey his master. Great analysis for that first piece of evidence, Catherine. Remember, the second piece of evidence, guys, was when the man was feeding him, giving him water and feeding him from his hand, which could easily have been bitten, but we're past that now, right? So she said the second piece of evidence reveals that when Buck listens, he will get rewards. If Buck obeys his master, he will receive good rewards for listening. This shows that the man in the red sweater is basically bribing Buck to obey him by offering rewards and obeying and for obeying and consequences for disobeying. Some of our responses addressed one but not the other. Some of us addressed the beating but not the feeding. Some addressed the feeding but not the beating. You need to hit on both. So redo this one in your own words. Really break down what the man was, what he was trying to accomplish. All right. So you got those. If you turned this in yesterday, you got scores on each question. So any question that you got full points, you can use that answer again. Any questions that you got partial points, you need to redo that one and to get full points. Okay. One thing I think is going to help you is I have provided a link in your assignment instructions to this audiobook version of The Call of the Wild. When we're in class, you often hear your teachers really reading something with a lot of feeling and a lot of expression, and you start to kind of pick up on different things that you might have missed if you were reading it yourself. This is a difficult book. Some of the words are weird, not weird. He uses advanced vocabulary, right? And so one thing that I think is going to help you if you're struggling with comprehension, rereading it's going to help. The feedback that I just gave, really using Catherine's is going to help. And listening to a master narrator reading this book while you follow along on the PDF, I think that's also going to help. Okay, so I have included in the assignment instructions for today, right here on the agenda, what minutes you need to go to get to this same section. Okay, so if you've got the physical copy of the book, you're going to follow along on pages 8 to 10. If you're using the PDF on your computer, you're going to follow along on pages 11 to 14. Either way, play the audiobook from minute 17, from 17 minutes and 36 seconds. And this section ends at 25 minutes and 52 seconds. So like I said, I at the beginning of the unit, I'm never going to assign you guys a ton of reading. This was about 8 minutes of reading, okay? But have the book in hand or have the PDF pulled up while you play this audiobook version, and we'll see if we don't start to pick up on some of the details that we're missing. We're missing details like who buys him. What is this guy Renault? They call him. It's gonna it calls him a few times. It calls him a half breed. You might be thinking when you see that term half breed is talking about a dog. It's not. It's talking about Renault. He's called a half breed because he's French and Canadian. So he has this kind of French accent, right? Um, the narrator will do that accent so you can hear how Renault talks. There's a line in the book when Renault sees Buck, and if you didn't know he had an accent, you would read, he said like, "Wow, that's a bully dog." When you hear the narrator read it in the French accent, you'll get a better feel for Renault as a character. He's like, "Oh yeah, now that's a bully dog." Okay, it just gives you some more flair to the character. We're missing how many dogs he's surrounded by now. Hint: one of them's not given a name yet. Okay, that might have tripped up some of us. Um, and then explain what he experiences for the first time. Don't just put one sentence, like show how you know, and then say multiple choice. Again, if you look at your graded assignment and you got this one correct, you know the correct answer. Pick it again. All right. I hope this helps. I know that when I actually when I read this book, because I was partly on vacation driving on a plane, I did listen to it. So I think it'll help you guys too. So yeah, give it a shot. Do your best. And I am really looking forward to seeing a bump in your scores. Again, go to office hours, guys. Come with questions. Just come to check in. Come to discuss the book. But that's going to help you get the most out of this time, out of this weird virtual school that we're doing. All right. Good luck on this assignment, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.